Okay. Um, I simply decided to call this video Take 3 because this is now officially the second successful live stream I've done. Yay! My was kind of, I don't know, maybe it'll make some people. But I wanted to say, Colin and all of you from Paranormal Files, I hope you see my other live stream, and I hope that in the future, as soon as possible, I am actually available for a different live stream that you guys maybe do later or something. But I do have audio. I did confirm that, so now I know that. Yay! At least I figured this part of it out, right? That's a start. Oh, I got to show you guys these glasses because you'll love them. I think they're adorable. They're novelty glasses. And sadly, the lenses are not all that great. Oh, this is just I'm not sure like what kind of seed this is, but yeah, that's my hair hanging from it. Don't gross out. I call them fairy balls because you can like take hairspray and spray it on, and then dip it. I dip it in fairy dust, and I just do it for the fairies because they like them or something for some reason. Anyway, these are my novelty glasses. And I hope they make you guys chuckle and smile. Yes, they are pot leaves. Told you I was a stoner. I hope it's okay to say that. But anyway, now I've got to rethink. Okay, so I told you guys some of the David stories, some of the paranormal, and I'm telling you, I've got some doozies, but it just, I call them jaw droppers because they make you feel like, what? Oh my God. But for a long time, I've always been, I don't know, I guess fascinated by, I keep seeing all these live streams that everybody's doing. And, I was like, God, I wish I could be there with you guys. Or I wish we could, work something out financially that I could get you guys here. But I mean, I'm on a fixed income. So, I get like a certain amount a month, as you all know. Don't need to quote the amount, that's not important. But it's really not, I mean, by the time I pay rent and bills, I'm lucky to have a couple hundred left. And that's what I live on for the month. I have, fibromyalgia, I have chronic lower back pain. I have, like I said, carpal tunnel in both wrists. A lot of, I've gained way too much weight, bigger than I recall ever being. And me and my husband are going to try to change that for both of us. We're trying to get set up with a program called Active and Fit through our insurance carrier, which is CareSource. And they, so we could get like possibly a free membership at a gym somewhere around here. There's one in Gahanna, which isn't far from where we live, and it's only a few minutes drive, and there's a YMCA there. So I would definitely want to go there if at all possible. Nosy itching again. I do have 2 cats, but they're not around. They're probably sleeping somewhere or something. But usually my cat Kalika is on my lap 9 times out of 10 most of the day, and off and on she'll get up and maybe go sleep somewhere else, but she spends a lot of time on my lap. I call her my lap kitty. They're both female. One's Kalika, one's Carmela. Kalika is the one with the darker colors. Carmela is the one with the lighter colors. They're sisters, basically half sisters. They're from the same mother but different dads. But you know how things go in the world of cat. Brothers and sisters intermix and have babies, and it can become a nightmare really quick. I love animals, I do, honestly. But there is such a thing as overkill, like way too many. I've lived in neighborhoods where there's actually a crazy cat lady down the street from me, but that was years ago. So for my second one here, I'm not sure, how long I'm going to be on here because I'm still kind of getting a feel for it, getting familiar with it. Now that I know that I do in fact have audio, that's a big plus. But I'm going to have to navigate on the site here a little bit and see how to keep this subscription going. And I even thought about, I don't think they have it going on now, but they had this student thing that you could get, like I think it was maybe YouTube Premium or something, like $5.99 a month. And that's not bad. And I am a student, I am a student of Stratford Institute, Career Institute. You can look them up online. They have lots of different courses for just about, I don't know if I could say anything you could possibly think of, but a lot of interesting choices. And the course that I'm doing right now is beauty care. And I'm telling you guys, it's hilarious because it took me a solid week trying to get through just this one section of this book, because when I got into cosmetology finally by doing this course, you just have no idea how extensive that what you're required to learn. Like, I'm talking human anatomy, I'm talking glands and muscles and skeletal system, and just whoa. And this one section was so many pages long that it hurt my brain. I had to keep taking breaks because it hurt my brain. I was like, whoa, this is too much. But you know what? I got an 84% on my last exam, my exam from that section when I finally got through it, and I'm pretty proud of that. I had an 80% grade point average when I did the parapsychology astrology course, so that's good. Oh, here's Kalika now. Hi, baby. You gonna come up and see Mama? She's right here by me. Hi, baby doll. Come here. Let me set this up here so if she does want to get up here, she can. Oh, okay. Come here. Come on up. I don't know if you can see her yet, but she's right here on my lap. You my lap kitty. Here, let me. She don't like being picked up, but I want you guys to see her. There she is. Mwah. That's my Kalika boo. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm leaving these on for a novelty kind of thing, just for fun, and I've got a tie-dye t-shirt on. I don't even know what's on the front of this thing. I think it was some kind of event or concert or something that somebody went to, not me. It was something I found in the thrift store. Hi, baby. But you know, I have no problem, you know, shopping at thrift stores. It's not a crime. You can find some really good deals there. You can find some really good quality clothing and furniture and all kinds of thises and that's and the others. Let's see. Okay. I guess I can like start off talking about more paranormal related stuff, because there's going to be like probably a different series of like strictly magical related stuff that I'm going to be doing. This is just me petting my kitty cat, petting my kitty boo, my clicky boo. Happy. She's purring. Okay. I know I guess I can switch this to something else for the moment, because the paranormal stuff, you know, I have to really take a moment to think about, okay, what is I don't know if prevalent story is the right word. The most recent encounters, other than the basement seance that me and my friend did. Not really. You know, like sometimes when we're in bed sleeping, I will it feels like one of the cats has jumped up on the bed, because our cats, they sleep with us. Sometimes, usually, very rarely, both of them will sleep on the bed with us, because we both move around a lot in our sleep, and we probably end up kicking them off or something. And I try not to do that, but when you're asleep and you're really tired, you know, you guys know, I mean, bless you all that you are so determined to get that live stream, and you kept pausing in your story, but that's okay. It's understandable when you're that tired. Like I call it, you get the goopy loofies, which that's the goofy loopies. It's, you get goofy when you get like a certain degree of tired. At least I do. You get goofy. And I'm not saying you guys were, because no, you weren't. You were trying really hard to get that out there, and I'm just, you know, I'm glad that you guys are okay from that. And I left you a comment on your page to guide you to me. Just look for me under Janet Mabius, and that'll bring you to my page. And there's only 2 videos listed. The first one, the one that doesn't say take 2, that one, it was it ended up becoming a still shot, and I, started to do a live stream, and then I never did, because I think it was like too late at night and I was too tired, and we was getting ready to go to sleep for the night anyways. If anybody's curious about the stuff behind me on the wall here, this is an angel that I got here. I won her from the Renaissance Festival. This is a candle holder. It can hold tea lights. And the one next to it with the ivy-looking leaves, that's a metal one as well. These are both metal. That one, the ivy leaves, you can do tapers inside. You can't really see her colors really good, but her colors are like really dark, and it's really hard to get her on the wall, so I don't want to take her down or anything. And, I've already shown my lovely little piggy corn here. Look how big this thing is. I mean, this animal's huge. My friend Jen, my next door neighbor, gave it to me. And I don't know why, but she knows that I like unicorns, and she decided that, hey, I don't need her anymore, and she gave her to me. She's given me so much, I love her dearly, and I try to give back, but, I don't always have the energy. I don't, because she doesn't have any friends besides me, not really. She has some, I guess my husband described it as she's a dysfunctional autistic. You can have an intelligent conversation with her. I mean, when the girl knits, she goes so fast, it's like, whoa, stop, you're making me dizzy. And I crochet, so I've had people tell me, how do you go so fast? I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even think about it. I'm just, crocheting. I might do some of that while I'm sitting here, I don't know. But I've always been drawn to the occult. I've always been fascinated by it. Me amongst however many billions of us are on the, in the world that are also open to it. But, you do have to be careful. You do have to be cautious. And, my biggest thing is, okay, now that I've figured out this part of it and how to do it, and I know that I do have audio and it sounds fine, everybody can hear me okay. I played back my take 2 before this one to make sure it had audio, because remember I said earlier in the take 2 that I didn't have audio with a video that I did before. So, but this thing, this laptop, this laptop is, it's not really heavy necessarily. It has some weight to it, obviously, but I don't really see the sense in trying to drag this thing with me when I investigate the paranormal tunnel, when I go to Ravenwood, the 28th of this month. But if, with my husband's help, I can figure out how to take videos that I have put on my camera and transfer to the laptop and get them here, once I can figure out how to do that, because I will have him instruct me step by step how to do it, but I will be the one doing it. I won't be like, okay, just show me. I'll be like, okay, do what? And he'll tell me what to click on and, what all I have to do. It's raining outside right now. You guys probably can't hear it very. Can you hear it? I would open the window, but it tends to blow in sometimes, and I don't want to, want my cat clawing me to death because she suddenly gets sprinkled with water. Ow, Kalika. Ow, baby. Ow, ow. Stop digging into mommy. Okay. When I was a kid, and I first started actually reading books about the occult, I was in magic and, the craft and everything, witchcraft. But again, I'm one of the good guys. I don't do the negative stuff. I don't do the hurtful stuff. I don't do controlling magic or anything. I'm not a dark one. I have certainly met my share of them. Some of them are okay for the most part, but you got to be careful, because they can, I call it the psycho switch, which is kind of harsh to say, but some of them, they're really scary, and they would definitely fall under the category of psychotic. I would bring home stacks of books, like endless stacks of books, even higher than this, from libraries and stuff, thinking in my naiveness that I was actually going to read through every single one of them before they were due to be turned back in, and I was lucky to get through one. So after a few times of doing that, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that anymore, because if I can't even get through one of them, why take home a whole stack? So let's see. I was probably, I believe it was 13 was the first time that I had my first experience with the realization that I am a witch. And I was born a witch, and I believe I am what they call a natural witch, because I don't necessarily need books to do magic. I can just do it on the fly. I can do a spell like bam and just make it up as I go, and it still has equal amounts of power. So when I got serious about it, let's see, it was probably when we moved over to Town Street. That's when I really started getting serious about it, and I actually went out and bought my first set of books, magic books. One of them was Scott Cunningham, The Solitary Practitioner, because so far I have been more a solitaire than having a coven or being a part of a coven. I've been in one, an actual band of people that don't exist anymore, but an actual coven. It was called Coven Moon Dance. And when I first, I was like 24, I think, roundabout, when I met them. And that was an interesting story how I met them, because there was this witch shop that I used to hang out in down on High Street, which the building was bought by someone else, and the last I knew it was called the Paragon Boutique, whatever that means. But it was a witch shop for a while, and I would go down there and hang out, and then the owner started getting upset, which I can understand, because that wasn't a place to hang out. It was just, she was one of the few actual witches that I knew that lived in the area, and I didn't really want to be at home, and I didn't have any friends that I could go hang out with, so I thought it would be harmless enough to hang out at her shop. But then I very quickly realized, okay, this is not right, and I was able to see it from her perspective as a shop owner. This is not a place to hang out, and I think she finally told me, and it did kind of hurt my feelings, but then later I felt like, okay, she's right. I have to look at it from the perspective of, this is not a place to hang out. But I met Audrey, and when I was there, her name was Audrey, and I told her that I was looking for a high priestess position, because I felt like I had been far enough along in my practices even then that I could do a high priestess role, no problem, which basically means you're the lead of the coven. You're the head honchoette, if you will, or as it were, and then you have a high priest, which those are the two people that, they're the all mother and all father, and we are all their children and such. But it was it started out nice at first when I got there. But anyway, I was looking for a high priestess position, and I told her that I was, and she's like, oh, I know of one place. She said, this is the address. Go up and talk to them and see if they would be willing to let you try it. I said, okay. So I went to the place. I met everybody, got along with everybody pretty good right away. So I thought, okay, this is good. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel any dark magic around me or anything. I thought, yeah, this will work. But it was okay for a while, but then it just went horribly wrong. People started fighting, because a lot of the people in the coven were couples, and a lot of people at one point were staying there, and the place only had, I think, was it 2 or 3 bedrooms? I think it might have been 3, but it's been a while. The apartment's still there, but the person that lived there when I was in Coven Moon Dance is no longer there. So, things went bad, and people started breaking up. People started fighting. Back then we were doing Norse magic, which is the pantheon of basically Thor, Odin, Freya, and all those guys. And there was this one ritual that we did one time that I was pregnant at the time, and it was something that, you had to do a bloodletting, and I didn't do it, and I'm glad I didn't, because when things went wrong, you do not want to be physically tied to a group of people like that when things go wrong. And they wanted each of us to like prick our finger or something and put it in this chalice to connect all of us. And I'm glad I didn't do that, because I found out later the high priest of the coven, who I will not even give him, I won't even say his name, because he molested my son, my oldest son, when he was like 4. And there was a time when I would have my oldest over there with me during coven meetings. And, you know, I mean, again, they were, to me, it didn't seem like anybody was really dark, necessarily, dark magic practitioners, but the high priest was. And I didn't find out until years later from my son what exactly happened and why, and it turned my stomach. So he has been traumatized because of that, and he struggles with those feelings of anger and, you know, bad, wanting to hurt him, wanting to hurt the guy that did this to him, and I don't blame him. I wanted to hurt the guy, and I'm glad that I lost touch with him, because otherwise I probably would have ended up in jail, because I was so destroyed by this. And after he did that, I said, okay, that's it. I'm out of here. And I left, and I went back and moved back in with my mom, because I was staying with the coven at the high priest's apartment for a time. Me and one of the coven members got together and became a couple. And I won't give his name either, because he turned out to be a bad one as well. And I don't wish any ill will to them now. I mean, I'm trying to forgive, I'm trying to overlook and just move on, you know. Realize, consider the source, and just leave it at that. But when I was 13, I had an experience where, and this is when I knew for certain that I'm a witch, and always have been, and was meant to be. And I'm not saying I've been a witch every lifetime, but yes, I absolutely believe in reincarnation, and I'm pretty sure that I'm an old soul, that I've been here before. This isn't my first rodeo. So even though these are not paranormal in relation right now, like I'm not doing an investigative haunting place of anywhere, but I will take this with me, and I don't want to be lugging this through a tunnel, because I just don't. For one, I know that when paranormal activity is going on and there are spirits and there are energies and forces around you, they will kill your batteries. Colin, you know, you said a lot of times they will cause your sugar to drop. And with your diabetes, yeah, you got to be careful. That can be dangerous. And, you know, it'll kill batteries. It'll, you know, it's ridiculous. But so I don't know, even like if I had this thing fully charged, I'd be lucky to get 3 hours of video footage out of it before the battery would die. But I keep it plugged in all the time, and I worry about it frying the battery, and I worry about it messing up the computer. And my husband has assured me that no, that should never happen as long as you turn it off. You know, don't leave it running constantly, because then that's what's going to start frying stuff. So I was in my room. It was Halloween, my 13th year. Cat hair. They both shed a lot. And I was in my bedroom. We were living on 87 South Hartford. Nice house. We had a nice yard. We had a nice concrete patio out back, and it was just a place. We had a nice porch we could sit on during the summer, and it was really nice back then. Had a lot of parties. A lot of friends would come over and, you know, hang out and, you know, just enjoy the day. Drink, get high, you know, all kinds of fun stuff. But if things ever started getting like too out of hand, then they would, you know, my mom would be like, no, okay, this week, party's over. You know, people are getting too crazy. And she did that for like a lot through my life, but and she just stopped doing it because people they would come to the parties. They would eat, they would drink, they would party, they would have a good time and stuff, and then they would leave my mom the mess to clean up the next day, and nobody, not once, ever volunteered to help her clean up, not even my brother and sister. And, you know, I don't blame her for stopping. and not doing them anymore, because if it would have been me, I would have been like, okay, you guys, you're not going to come and party and then not help clean up afterward, because that's just rude. To me, that's disrespectful. Because, I mean, you know, it's not like we ever charged anybody any money or anything for these events. They were just gatherings, really. So my 13th year, I'm sitting in my room. It was Halloween. I remember thinking, it's Halloween, and I want to do something special. I didn't go out trick-or-treating or anything that year, because by then I was in my teens, so I didn't see the need to go out and do it. I didn't have any candles. So I thought, okay, does Mom have any candles? And then I don't think she had any at the time. And I was like, aha, my sister does. So I went down into my sister's candle stash, because she's not a witch. She knows that I'm one, but she's just, if she ever decided to become a witch, she would be a dark one, sadly. She has been diagnosed with psychoticness disorder. And yeah, it's pretty sad, because she's my only sister. I'm the youngest of three. I have one brother, one sister, and as far as siblings, that's it. So I borrowed a orange pillar candle that was probably about yay tall, and it was kind of pretty decent size, big around, you know. And I had these two plastic, basically they call them like tea tables, or like end tables that you would use to set a drink on, or a plate of food, or, you know, you couldn't put a whole lot on it, but it could hold a decent amount of weight, you know. And I had two of them. I had a white one and I had a yellow one. They used to belong to my mom, I think, but then she ended up giving them to me, because she knew I liked them and I wanted a table in my room. So she went ahead and gave them to me. I believe it was the white one that I destroyed. I had the white one sitting on top of the yellow one, and I lit the candle. I had matches, was all I had at the time. I've never smoked cigarettes or anything like that. I don't do that. My husband smokes cigarettes, but I don't. And I've been around a lot of smokers throughout my life. So I only had matches, and I lit the candle. I turned out all the lights in the room. I had on the conical hat. I had on, you know, the black big rim, pointy, you know, like you would see a witch wear. And I dressed all in black, and I sat cross-legged on the floor in front of the table where I had the candle. And I didn't really do anything other than deep meditation. And at some point, I mean, as soon as the flame was lit, I can stare into a flame, candle flame, a big open fire pit thing, you know, as long as it's flame, and I stare into it a long enough period of time, I will go into a trance, and I will just, like, bam, I just open up to the universe, and you never know what's going to come through or who. So you have to, I always try to be protect before I do anything like this. And granted, I didn't think to cast, I don't think. I may have had a circle cast that night. I don't remember, you know, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen or why I was even doing this. Other than I just got this distinct feeling, okay, this means something. It's something that I am meant to know. So I sat there and I started staring into the candle flame. And I went into a trance. And at some point, I don't know how long I was in the trance or how deeply I was in the trance, but I didn't even realize, I barely acknowledged I was doing this subconsciously or consciously, but I started throwing matchsticks into the candle flame. Bad idea. Candle flame got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just kept doing it till I ran out of matches. By that time, the flame was every bit probably about that high, about yay wide, and I was so deeply entranced that I could literally pass my hand through the flame this slowly, and it did not burn me at all. I was the flame. And I think that was the night that I came into my power. And that was why I was meant to do it, because it was exactly at midnight, Halloween of, back then it would have been the year, I want to say 80. See, I was 13, so it would take too long for me to count back to exactly what year, but it was in the 80s. And I was so deeply entranced, I just kept staring at the flame. and everything else, it's like everything else in the room literally disappeared. So much to the point that I wasn't frightened or anything, but I was just that deeply entranced. Suddenly, I heard drip, 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 and I'm like, what the? And it snapped me out of it. What is dripping? Why? What is that noise? So I looked and I saw that the yellow table had something dripping from the white table, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I realized, oh my God, the candle was completely gone. The table was on fire, literally on fire. That's why the flame got so big and wide. It was, I burnt a big hole in the center of that table, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm not going to blow this one out. Ran to the bathroom, grabbed a cup of water, brought it back to my room, doused the flame, soaked my bed, soaked the whole area, but hey, I got the fire out. And I sat there and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And before I completely concluded everything, I closed my eyes and I stared at my bedroom windows. And for like a handful of seconds, I had a crystal clear picture of my windows as if my eyes were open. That is by far the strongest visualization I have ever had. So that's pretty much what started it for me. That really set me on the path that, okay, I'm obviously a witch. I was meant to do this because I was meant to come into my power that night, and boy, did I. So then once that happens, then you start noticing other things, like you start noticing the different energies around you. You start noticing the spirits, and there actually was, our house was haunted. There was an old man that used to live in the dining room. He died there. And the dining room was the area that my sister cordoned off with a tarp and some wire so that she could have some privacy. But when you went up the steps, when you got to a certain point up the steps, you could look right down into her room. So, but nobody ever did because, you know, I mean, especially if she had somebody over or something, you know, I'm not going to be looking down into the bedroom and see her doing it with somebody gross. Ew, no thank you, rather not. So we respected her privacy, and, you know, that was the last time she lived with us, was at that address. She was a radio dispatcher in the Columbus Police Department. And she thought she was the big cheese. But she really wasn't, you know, and so anyway, after that incident, I just started reading. I am self-taught in the sense that I would read books in order to reconnect with the energies that were already there. I just didn't know it until that night on my 13th year, you know, Halloween, of my 13th year. When I first started noticing that I could see auras, I couldn't tell you. I don't remember, honestly. I also have healing ability. I have done healings before. I have done image magic. I have done magic on the fly. I have done, you know, I try not to make my rituals too complicated because there's a lot of dramatized versions out there that people, they just want to be elaborate and they think they got to do this whole big complicated thing, and you really don't. Intent, proper mindset, emotion, you got to be open to it. You cannot be afraid of it. The craft and paranormal rated stuff, and, you know, I'm sure you guys have, in your travels and paranormal files, all the places you've been, you've met probably quite a few witches. And you find that, you know, there's a lot of us out here that are really great people that, you know, we don't want people to be afraid of us. We don't want them to automatically judge and criticize and say, oh, you're a witch, well, then you're a Satanist and you worship the devil. No, sorry, but no, I do not. Wicca don't conjure devils and demons. There's no need. To me, it's like, what could possibly be any kind of a good purpose to conjure a demon? I can't think of any. The coven that I was thinking about getting into recently, because they were looking, you know, they're always welcoming people. And I am allowed to go to the high holidays, what we call, you know, like Imbolc, Samhain, which is, people call it Samhain, but it's actually produced Samhain. It's Halloween, All Hallows Eve, Imbolc, Ostara, Maybon. There's, I think, like 8 of them altogether or something or another. Some of them are Sabbats, some of them are Esbats. Yule is one of them. Yule is one of the major ones, and that's December 21st. So to us Wiccans, that is, to me, that's Christmas. But because I have so many like friends, family, loved ones, and stuff that believe in the traditional, what people call traditional Christmas, which I have no problem with, but I just do my own thing on the 21st, and then on the 24th and 25th, I do try to go over and see my family, and we do the whole open presents thing and whatever. But throughout all this time, I have seen things, I have experienced, I have witnessed, and yeah, some of them were not great, but I survived them. Um, Probably some of the most creepy and alarming was basically a nightmare that I had one time, where I don't know if any of you at the Paranormal Files, if any of you guys have ever watched the Underworld series with the Lycans and the vampires and that whole thing. Love the whole series, love it to pieces. Well, it's not a series. There was only like 3 or 4 movies I think they did about it, but I love them. Selena's my girl, man. She's my dudette. And Michael, of course, her love, her true love, first hybrid and all that. In this nightmare, you know how big those lichens are, right? And they're like every bit of 10 foot. They can transform at will. Those are the elders. Those are the ones that have been in it the longest, that have been turned, that was turned however many years back. I felt my body. Literally, it was very real. So real that I think it woke me up because it scared me that bad. I actually felt my body contorting and changing into a lichen, just like the ones in the movies. And I remember looking down at my hands and seeing the long nails and claws, and I was like, oh shit, because the nightmare was that we were in this complex somewhere, and there was Chris was swimming in this big, like, Olympic-sized pool, and the place seemed dead. It was broad daylight in the nightmare, oddly enough. Like, nobody was around. We couldn't see any people. We couldn't find any people. It was like a ghost town or whatever. And then all of a sudden, we find ourselves in this complex, and it's like all the rooms intermixed. Like, you would go into one apartment, and then you would go through a door, and you would go into another, and it was like they were all connected. It was really weird. And the fact that I physically felt myself transform, I actually woke up very alarmed, very frightened, and I was even afraid to look in the mirror because I was like, okay, am I human? And I was. I think I looked at my hands. I'm like, okay, yeah, it was just a bad dream. But that's not the only dream that I've had like that. There's been other dreams that weren't nightmarish, that were very real, that things feel physical, things feel tangible. Like, I can sit here and I can pet my cat on my lap. I can touch my laptop. I can touch my skin, myself. It's like, I know what's real, but these encounters were so real that I felt like I had literally somehow teleported myself to another plane of existence, and there was just a lot of really bizarre stuff going on around me. But there's been nightmares that I've had where I was running. It was always vampires, zombies, and werewolves. Those were the worst. The zombie ones was usually I was trying to get away because the zombies were coming after me and I didn't want to get eaten. And I would barely escape each time. And then there's vampire ones that I literally felt them sinking their fangs into my flesh. So much so that I woke up and I was literally making sure I wasn't bleeding. And then there was times when I allowed them. I literally asked the vampires to turn me, and I was completely okay with it and open, and it didn't bother me at all. Am I a vampire? No. Am I a werewolf? Not that I'm aware. Am I a zombie? Obviously not. But yeah, there's times when I'm so tired that I feel like a zombie, or when I first wake up in the morning, it's like, So yeah, that could be, to me, that's zombie me when I'm just waking up. Trying to think of some more like background I want to put in here. Try to make it not too boring or pause for too long or anything. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Sorry, Cleek, I didn't mean to chase you down. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of waiting to see how long before I get any responses, or how do I, make this public. Let's see, what does this thing do? Emoji? Okay, that's just an emoji. And I can't really, I don't know, can I say anything? Is that how you open it? Yeah, I guess you can. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and take these off. I'm not going to keep them on the whole time. I just wanted you guys to see them. If I can figure out where to put them. I guess I'm going to pause now and go get something to eat, because it's like 2:30 basically in the afternoon, and I haven't eaten yet. And I've been up since about 9:30. So, but I was so excited, to get on here and to give this a try. And I'm just really glad that I've finally gotten this far. And I have figured out how to do this much. So it's like, okay, what's the next step? Well, that's going to be getting the other videos over here, because I have some video footage from Ravenwood Castle. It was a day that I went up to find it, because I had the address and everything, but I had to GPS it on my phone, and that's how I found my way to it. And, so if you guys want to look it up online, just go to, Ravenwood Castle, and it'll bring it up. They have several different locations, different parts of the world. The one that I go to is in Plymouth, Ohio. Or I say go to because, I've only been there the once, but then the 28th I'm going to be going again, this time to actually stay. And it's only for a night, though, so that's kind of a drawback, because they don't let you, and I don't know why this is, I'll find out, they don't let you check in until after 3 p.m. And then once you get there, you get your key and everything, you go into the office, because see, what they do is once you book the room, they will take, like in my case, they took out 7871 right away. That was part of the 15742. And then they said they would take the other half out once you got there and you checked in. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So, well, that's what I'll do. And the one day is all that I can afford, because having barely, a little over $200 to work with, and that's also the money that I have to live on for the month. I have to pick and choose what to use it for. And this place, the cabins, to me, are my place of zen. Ravenwood Castle is really cool, and you guys would absolutely love it. I understand the whole, broke thing, because I am too. So I don't know how we'll figure all that out, and I know I'm not the only fan that has said, when are we going to get together? When can I meet you guys? But I understand, the need for safety, and, it does take a lot of money to travel. And if I had the money, I certainly would. I would literally pay to fly you guys out here myself and get you a, nice, inexpensive hotel somewhere nearby that's halfway decent. And, just even like a day with you guys would be awesome. So I hope you find your way to Columbus, Ohio sometime. I hope you look up Ravenwood Castle and just to check it out and say, yeah, that does look like a lot of fun. They have other cottages up there that are more expensive, that are closest to the castle, because the Huntsman's Hollow, you have to actually drive down a kind of a little bit of a steep, not steep, but it seems like it to me, gravel driveway, and then you have to turn right, and then that takes you down into the parking lot, and then you'll see the cabins. I hope you guys make it. Just please, 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 if you do, somehow, some way, by some miracle only the God and Goddess can do, powers that be, the Almighty, whatever, your beliefs. Um, I would love if you guys ever do come here. Please let me know. Let me know where you're going to be, and I will try my very best to meet you guys there if you're okay with it. Because I just thought Ravenwood Castle would be a nice place, and I mean this castle is literally in the middle of the woods, and you have to drive up gravel driveway to get to it. The main body of the castle is really nice. They have a main hall in there that you can dine at their tables and stuff, but you have to include that into the package, which I can't afford to do. However, you can take your own food because each cabin has a sink, running water, electricity, central heat and air. Sorry, tickle in my throat. They have a loft, so if you have little kids or something, they like the loft. There's one bedroom, futon in the main room where the kitchen is, and the dining room. It's like your kitchen, dining room, living room's all one room. Tiny little bathroom though. Oh my gosh, they have a shower in there but no tub. I'm like, dang it, because I'd love to take some bubble bath and use their tub, because our tub, the we can do showers, but trying to do like a hot bath or like a hot soak is harder for us to do because the whole plumbing needs to replace the pipes and the thing. It's a mess. So the thing that you pull up that switches it from shower to tub, that, I mean, it works, but when you try to, because it has three knobs that you have to turn, the center knob is the one that switches it from the shower to the tub. So I thought, man, it would be nice if I could, get a tub at one of the rooms, but those are the more expensive. I know like some of them are like over $200 a night. They have weddings there. They have all types of, family gatherings, and it is a family place. They have a giant chessboard that, I mean, I swear, guys, the pieces are like that big, this big, pretty decent size. The cottages, the most expensive ones are, okay, like when you're facing the castle, the cottages are mostly over here. And then there's a couple back here that are kind of random, but there's only like two of them. And then there's one that's more like, I think their maintenance shed or storage shed or something. And I just think that would be really great if, if we could all meet up there sometime and just, make all the arrangements. And, if I could help financially at all, I definitely would. Or like I said, even if I could come to some place that you guys were filming, I mean, I would just love to, meet you guys. So we'll just, play it by ear, and hopefully that'll happen someday. If not, it's okay. At least somebody loves you enough that they want to meet you, and I'm not the only one. I know. Got lots of fans out there. I'm just petting my kitty cat. Playing with your tail. There's your tail. See the tail? She's like, Mom, what are you doing? Quit pulling my tail. I'm not hurting her. She lays down, and then she gets up, moves around, lays down again. Silly girl. So let's see. I guess, like I said, I'll kind of leave it at that, and I need to go, unless I can think of something else I wanted to say. But now that I know how to do this, I will definitely do it more often, and I will try to do it in different locations. But the hardest part for me is going to be lugging around my laptop to do it, because if that's the only way I can do it, if I can't find a way to transfer videos that I've taken with my camera and get the videos on here, which I'll have my husband help me figure out how to do today, hopefully. Love you guys. Stay spooky, fam. Hope to meet you sometime. And I will definitely make sure that the video footage will be on here that I will, from Ravenwood Castle. I will find the paranormal tunnel, which is what I call it, because they just refer to it as a haunted tunnel. And it's somewhere near the castle, but you may have to go down the roadways to find it, because I remember the day I was in there when I found the place, there was a couple that came in and they were asking directions literally to the tunnel because they wanted to see the tunnel. And I should have asked them then. I should have had them show me on the map where's the haunted tunnel. Excuse me, but because they only let you check in at 3 p.m., for the one night stay, and then you have to be out the next day by 11 a.m. So really, you only have from basically, you might as well say 3 to whenever in the night that you decide, okay, I'm too tired, guys, I can't stay up anymore, I'm slurring my speech, and I can't keep my eyes open. You know, then, you know, sleep for a few hours, and, you know, the bed, I'm sure, I mean, I sat on it, it seems really comfortable and everything. And I just, you know, I guess I was amazed at the fact that they have actual dishes, not throwaways. They have cups, plates, bowls, real silverware, not plastic stuff. They have a little silverware drawer, and they have a little trash can under the sink, and they have a little mini fridge, for real. They have a microwave. They have a little flat screen TV that's maybe about yay wide. You know, it's not very big. So you can do like DVDs. You can take movies and watch them if you want, you know, when you're done running around for the day or whatever. And hoping this time, you know, since I'm actually going to be able to stay there, it's going to be warmer out. That it's because when I was down there the day I found it, it was like fucking freezing cold, and it actually started snowing. I was like, oh boy, you know it's cold when it's snowing. There's a pretty little babbling brook that goes through the cabins, kind of behind the cabins. There's a country road over here that cars go up and down all the time, and you can look off to the woods, various different points, and you can actually see houses. So people do live up there, but it's not like a homeless camp or homeless situation or anything. Can't wait to see you guys, Paranormal Files, your footage of the you know, the scary, creepy hat that you had behind the Hobby Lobby. And it's going to be hard because if you guys are going to be waiting, because if you guys are going to be leaving in a couple weeks to go to England, I'm jealous because I've always wanted to go there, and I actually have some surrogate family there that I would love to meet, you know, face to face. So far, I've only met one of the family, and his name was Mark, and he came and stayed with me 4 days, and that was like the first time I'd met him. Met him online years ago. I met the daughter first, I think it was. Then the mother started talking to me, which is fine because that was just, you know, I was like, hey, you know, I'm just a really good person, and I'm just looking to, you know, make some friends. And they adopted me. Basically, within a short period of time, they adopted me in the sense that they consider me family, and I consider them family. But I've only met Mark. I haven't met Elizabeth, and I haven't met Louise, and I haven't met Hayden, her son. And hopefully in maybe some future videos, if I can work out the scheduling situation with my daughter, I will try to have her on here too, just to say hey. And I don't know if there's like anything in particular she would want to do a video about, but it's really hard to catch her. It's hard to work around her schedule because she does work a lot. And, you know, I'm trying to do my beauty course, and I'm loving it. You know, I'm doing really good, and my grades are doing really good. Oh, great, my cat's in my lap. So I will let you guys go for now, and hope you see these videos soon. Blessed be all. Blessed be.